of total reality behind this cosmos. And that if that is so, there are not any mistakes in the world.
You've been on my mind for a while now. Feel like we've been lying for a while now. Your body shine like gold and I can't help but to touch you. Waiting on my soul weighs you down. We should let it go. I stuck around too long. The thought is on my mind to get away from you. Come up on my back, I only lose. Should've never been so quick taking my love away. I'm involved with you, girl, I can't. I've got this blood on my hands. I've got this blood on my hands.
What's going on? Good evening from New York. This is the Dominance Academy. I'm your host, Mr. Justin. Been going through some serious life changes, big shifts. And yeah, I've been able to stream lately. Been very busy with other work and all kinds of stuff. A friend asked me to help out with a very large design project, so it's taken up a lot of my time. That said, I'm here to stream and record for you guys, and wanted to talk a little bit about this line that, again, I took from Conan, the whole sword scene that I've shown you guys. And, Thulsa Doom, he says, what is steel? He says, what is steel to the hand that, compared to the hand that wields it? And I say, what is the body compared to the mind that wields it, right? And I get into a number of chats with guys, and they're talking about their experiences with women, and they're like, yeah, man, like she did this, she's listened to this and that. What's up, Enrique? Yeah, and they're like, yeah, and she does this and she does that, and and it's awesome. She's so submitted. She listens to everything I say. And I'm like, brother, any woman who's sexually liberated, she's comfortable with herself, comfortable with her sexuality, they can do submission. Like, pretty much every woman can do submission. Any woman can, like the picture in the corner there, get on her knees, put her head to the floor, and put her hands out. She can assume that role just for a little while. And it's fun, it's sexy, it's invigorating. And then tomorrow, she's back to her regular self. She's just, who she was before that event. And this is not actually submission, right? This is playing the role of submission. This is just playing along, right? And this is like why I say that a woman's body means nothing. It really doesn't matter to me. Sure, of course, if I'm getting involved with a girl, I have to be physically attracted to her, right? But it's quickly ignored. It's just bypassed. It's like, okay, yeah, and right. And it's kind of like if you're car shopping, you're going to make sure that it's got an engine and four wheels and a steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a given. You're not going to be like, wait, so does the car have four wheels? Like, that's not a question you ask, So it's always a given to me that the woman's going to be attractive. I'm not going to talk to a woman that I'm not attracted to. So I'm not saying that that's any kind of measurement for me. All right. Because all the girls are attractive. Like, in my world, all the girls are attractive. I don't interact with women I find unattractive. Okay. So then it's like, okay, well, then what's next? Right. Because I was talking to a friend of mine, client as well. And And he was telling me like, you know, what makes this woman special that he was into. And the first thing he said is that she's really hot. And I said, okay, imagine you're in a room with 10 women who are equally as hot. Now what do? What's the determining factor? What separates the wheat from the chaff of being a woman who gets your attention, who gets your time? Okay. Because I know you guys, like, I don't know if you guys are simpy, but like simpy guys, you put them in a room for gorgeous 10 women, they're all going to shit their pants and they're not going to know what to do. I mean, I'm sure like online while they're tapping away, they're going to say all the great things that they're going to do, but put them in real life situations, they're going to freeze up like a deer in the headlights. But back to, you know, the guy, and he was like, well, shit, I don't know. And I'm like, look, that's a you thing. Like the fact that you don't know, that's the most important doorway that you should be walking through. Why don't you know? Right? And this is, and it's a shift that like guys put onto women. They say, oh, well, you should, you know, what do you bring to the table? And it's like, asshole, you should know what belongs at your table. You know what I mean? It's like you're having a cookout. You're gonna say, hey, listen, I need, what's up, Adventures of D? I want to change your name to Adventurous D. Adventures of D, got you. Pardon me. So, what do you say here? So yeah, it's stupid to fucking ask women what do they bring, right? Because every woman, like I explained in my solipsism video, like every woman just, you know, believes they're amazing. They blow up their own ego. They blow up their own self-image to themselves due to solipsistic thinking and knowing that they are a complete giant bowl of steaming, warm insecurity, and they know this, right? And but it's like quickly ignored, right? It's just kind of like this whisper in the back of their mind that they don't want to listen to. So they quickly move like to the conscious part of the front end of how great everything is, right? How great I am. And then, you know, other girls who are also suffering from the same bullshit, they do the same thing to each other. You know, like the girl looks like shit. She's fat as hell or whatever. And they're like, girl, you are so amazing. Then when they're behind closed doors with their other friends, they're like, that bitch look like shit in that dress. Oh, fuck. Ladies, fellas, just be so grateful that you were born as a man. Just be so grateful. Like there's so many cuckoo things that go on inside a woman's reality that we just do not have to deal with, and it's fantastic. Sorry, ladies. Maybe next time around, if you believe in karma. So do good. You might come back as a man. So yeah, back to, you know, submission and shit. You don't really have to, you don't even see, the thing is that like the guys will think, and this is just due to the experiences that they have, but like guys will think that submission occurs through the body, right? And it can, right? It literally can. Oh damn, this is looping. So submission totally can occur through the body, but it's not very deep, is what I'm saying. Like, because the truth is, a woman's body, their mind, and their heart, they're all interconnected, right? We're not. Like, we could literally like watch a movie about like people getting killed, right? Just like a documentary, some shit, and then get our dick sucked, and also I don't know, like, just we can compartmentalize. Like we don't have like these like crossover integrated systems when it comes to our mind, our heart, and our body. Like we could have a cold heart, be thinking about fucking fixing the motorcycle and getting a blowjob all at the same time. And nothing will be confused, you know? And this is why like girls don't understand how a guy can be in a relationship, like a committed relationship, and to him he's like, yes, I'm committed, like I don't want other girls, I want you, and also like sleep with another woman. And you know, ladies, they won't be able to understand that, like what's going on like I could never do this. Like if I'm into the guy, I can't even fathom being with another dude, you know. And then they go screw Chuck from accounting. Yeah, I was watching this video. It's just a clip, some kind of reel or something like that. It was a woman too. She's calling out ladies, and it's older woman, psychologist or something like that. And she's like, you know, she's like, women have like this narrative, right? This story that is told that they believe in, that that others believe in, and it's this whole like sugar and spice, everything nice, and I need trust, right? I need trust, I need comfort and things like that in order to comfortably have sex with a guy, right? And then but then like you have situations where like, okay, she's married, it's a dead bedroom, maybe her husband has like been ignoring her for the past like 5 years, and she's like, oh my gosh, I need some fucking attention. And next thing you know, Chuck from accounting, he's like, hey, what's up, let's go to happy hour after work. And the next thing you know, she's banging him, you know, in some hotel, and she didn't know him because like he works in a completely different department and basically only knows his name due to just like a name tag that's on a shirt. This, which basically like puts to bed the whole thing that like trust and, you know, communication and getting to know you and all this stuff and feeling comfortable. It's like, well, what about Chuck? Like, you didn't know. Excuse me, just 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, this whole thing with like the trust and vulnerability and communication and feeling comfortable to have sex with a dude is a complete and utter fucking lie. It's not necessary. Is it good to have for women? Yeah, of course, like many times. But is it necessary? No, it absolutely isn't. It's not necessary at all. And the reason why this can occur is because, you know, relating it back to the title here, is the mind is actually a woman's gateway. It's not her body. And, you know, guys, they'll fuck a girl and she'll change, you know, she'll have some behavior changes, be like, oh my gosh, like I'm really into this guy, and like, you know, like on him, like white on rice. And, you know, that's really not submission, right? That's like her body in being engaged and her emotions and things like that, like all getting wrapped up and wanting to feel more. Okay. That's what it is. A craving to have that feeling more, likely mixed with a bit of limerence. Good. What's up? Adventures of D. I've always been waiting to ask this question. Why wait? You speak much on mental domination before anything physical. How can I become and cultivate that? That's a good question. Unfortunately, the question is easier to ask than it is to answer. But it's probably one of the best questions. Well, at first it has to do with being comfortable with the idea that how you show up, like, well, first of all, it's getting comfortable with yourself. All right. So this has to do with your own perspectives, your beliefs, your values, your kinks, the things you love, the things you don't love, and being being like unabashedly connected to those things without having to shove it in people's faces. Okay. So like for example, like Andrew Tate is very convicted about the things that he believes in. Okay. But he has this, you know, either this marketing idea or this need to push it in front of people. All right. What I'm saying as far as the domination goes, it's like you don't want to be like that. You want to be just as convicted, but you don't want to have to just like prove it to people and talk about it and get it in front of people and all that shit and push it on them. That's not necessary. You just have to be very comfortable within yourself, which has to do with guilt. It has to do with sexual shame. It has to do with personal shame. There's a lot of things connected to why a guy cannot really be comfortable and bond with his essential self or his sexual self. Okay. You know, there's other little things like being afraid to say no to a woman. All right. Being afraid of disappointing her. Okay. Because think about it, is a dominant man, and I mean dominant in the one who's got cool, calm control. Do you think he's concerned about her being upset when you say no? All right. It's not even like in his radar to be like, oh, geez, I hope she likes this idea. I hope she goes along with it. Like those aren't even thoughts in the mind. There's no hesitation. There's no half stepping. It's just, this is what I want to do. And I'm just walking through. I'm walking forward. So that's necessary. Okay. Being comfortable with a woman's reactions, whether good or bad. And I mentioned good because a lot of guys, you'll get thrown off your square by positive emotions as well. Or you'll be like, oh boy, here we go. Oh, goody. She's really into me, or she really likes me, or she really wants to do this thing that I want to do. Right. That's being thrown off your square as well. Okay. Being thrown off your square can be done by anything, not just anger or sadness or anxiety. It can be joy. It can be excitement. It can be elation. Okay. All emotions can throw you off your square. You want to be able to be just centered, grounded, calm, and unmoved by anything, right? Is what I call the mountain mind. This is what's essential. Like, so there's like foundational shit that applies to your fantastic question, okay, about acquiring mental domination. So really the mental domination of another begins with dominating yourself. And that doesn't come with force, okay? It comes with understanding, right? When we have knowledge of something, it allows us to control it. We don't need force at that point. Does that make sense? And so, and this is with anything, right? Like my world, part of my world is very much centered around motorcycles. So it's like when I didn't know how to work on bikes, they had control of me, right? Something would go wrong and I wouldn't understand. I would get frantic. I would get upset. I'd be confused, right? And then I learned. I started reading and researching and testing and experimenting, talking to mechanics and things like that, and learning until the point that I understood an engine and how it's supposed to work and all the little parts that go into making a well-functioning motor. And from that point, me gaining knowledge meant the control shift. I am now in control of the motor, right? Because it can't like affect me. I hear something, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a little ping coming from the low end. I got to check that out. So like so the knowledge, that's what shifts things like away from force, right? Because guys will have something going on with themselves. They're like, no, I'm not a pussy. No, I gotta man up. And they like try to like force their consciousness into a shape or force their identity into a shape. No, it comes through knowledge. And sometimes that knowledge unearths shit that you don't want to see, shit that you don't want to hear, things that you didn't realize that you believed about yourself that are damaging, right? So, but also discovering fantastic things about yourself, right? Like really interesting things. Okay, you might discover that you've got like some really unique kinks or some really profound ideas that you're afraid to share with people because you're afraid that they might judge you or something along those lines. It's accepting all of these things. Okay, so what you can do is go into Chat GPT and say, what are some exercises that I can do to learn about shadow integration and how to use and exercise shadow integration? And that's from Carl Jung. And which is, and the shadow, as Jung described it, is all the negative things, the bullshit, the things that we criticize, the things we rather hide from people, that we hide with our ego and pride and all these things. It's that shit that we don't like, that we learn to bring into the light and say, okay, this too is part of me. And then you integrate that. You stop pushing it away. You stop rejecting it. You stop judging it, and you accept it. And this is also part of the foundation, right? So you were asking me such a simple question. How do you mentally dominate another person? It always has to start with yourself. Right? You have to be complete, right? At least in sight, in knowledge and exposure of the self, right? I don't mean complete as in like perfect and you have no more development to do, because that happens for the rest of your life. What I mean is you have a lay of the land. You understand like what you are. And then you can start going in, right? Because once you have that knowledge and there's no rejection of the self, you accept who you are. Now you can start communicating how you want to. And you're not afraid of planting suggestions. You're not afraid of speaking exactly what you want and what you want them to see, what you want them to hear, what you want them to do. And it becomes easy. It's like breathing. Okay. So that's one of the harder aspects of it that can take some time depending on, what your psychological makeup is. The other thing that you got to do is get creative. All right. You cannot dominate well as a boring fuck. You can't. You absolutely can't. You need to grow your imagination. And what this does is it just grows the right side of your brain. Some of these tracks here are recorded at different levels. Just let me know if the background music is too loud. I just want it to be like just a little bit there. So you have to get into creative writing, right? Specifically erotic creative writing. Okay. Short stories. You need to learn about short stories. Man, I don't want this fucking track. You have to start making short stories that are erotic and try to make them as detailed as possible. This is where the magic is. You don't want your short stories, your erotic short stories, to read like a 5-minute porn clip where there's like, oh, I texted this girl and then she came over to my house and she knocked on the door and like, oop, there she is. And then she comes in and now she's on the couch and getting her clothes stripped off. And oh boy, there's like slap in the face and she's on her knees and she's blowing me. And then like this. And then I sent her on her way. It's like, well, there's nothing there for the woman, right? Like this is just like the very quick pleasure, like very primate, like just like go for the pleasure and then explode and then be done. You can't write this way. You have to learn the art of drawing out tension. This is where it's at. Okay. You have to learn the art of pulling tension. Okay. And the art behind it is, how do I explain this? It's finding that balance point between pulling that tension and it snapping. Okay, you're losing the tension. All right, or if you're everyone's a cat owner. All right, if you play with a cat before, take like a little ball of paper, tie it to a string, a long string, and you're like dancing it around the cat, and the cat is going to be interested. They're like, oh yeah, look at that fucking thing, and they start batting it around and having fun. If you never ever let the cat have the satisfaction of grabbing it, then it will get bored. It'll be just like, fuck, I'm never catching that thing, I'm gonna go take a nap. Like, fuck that thing, right? And if you let it catch it right away, it'll go, oh great, I got it, go and bite it a couple times and then go, all right, yeah, I'm bored, and it'll walk away. But if you strike that balance between letting it think it's gonna get it and let it kind of getting it and then kind of not, and that middle range, that middle area of almost what's gonna, right, that's where the tension is. Because who's gonna win, me or the cat? All right, if I keep pulling on that string, right, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna keep stretching or is it gonna break? Oh, I'm releasing tension, oh, I'm bringing it back, releasing tension, bringing it back. That's where the good shit is, when you can start engaging that tension. All right, now to achieve that, and in a real world sense, to achieve that, like in actual communication, you must be able to control your own desire. You have to be really, really comfortable in that middle zone such that you can pull the levers. Okay? Guys who are just obsessed with pussy, they want to get laid, they want that dopamine hit, okay? They want that ego hit. They're like, fuck it. They just floor the lever. They're like, let's go. She's interested. And boom, it's like over and done. Now, I'm not saying that can't be fun. It can. And there are women in certain instances, and whatever their cycle is or whatever, they love that fast, animalistic, primal, like slam you up against the wall, rip off your fucking clothes, fuck for like 3 seconds, and it's done. And she's like still loving it, But, and that's great in its own way. You know what I'm saying? But there's way more power. It's like way more power and tasty power when you can draw out that middle zone where you're able to work those levers of creating tension and pulling it back and just massaging the scenario. And it's like, if you ever edged a woman, it's like that, right? You're playing with her clit and she's about to come. You can feel you're just instinctually, you can feel that she's on that edge, and you just back off. But not so much that she falls off and her arousal drops, just enough so that she doesn't come. And then you wait a second, you feel it, your instinct is like, okay, go. And you go back in, right? And you can do this again and again and again and again. And on the back end, that pressure is building. Okay. So then by like the 8th time, you're like, okay, go. And you let her rip. And it's like the fucking Hoover Dam falls off, and it's like poof, gigantic waves. All right. That's that middle shit. That's where you got to learn how to cultivate. And you get this. Okay. You learn this through writing erotic stories, short stories, because you have control. You have full control over the environment, the dialogue, what you say, what she says, or you can make it like third party people. It's, some guy and some woman or whatever, or 2 women or whatever. You have full, like you're like this little god. And you can create all these scenes and like make people do it, and you can create the tension. And that's where you exercise this shit. And you learn. So it's kind of like the, going to, it's like a sparring match almost. And you're learning the little skills without actually being in the real world exercising these things. And then you'll write something, you're like, oh damn, that's fucking cool. Right? Or you'll see something in a movie, like 9.5 Weeks or something like that, or you go on Reddit and go to Gone Wild Stories. I think it's Gone Wild Stories or Stories Gone Wild, something like that. That's the subreddit. And people submit their erotic short stories, and you can read them. Read the ones written by women, because they understand tension, because they fucking love tension. Those idiots out there in the manosphere, they're like, attention is the drug or no, what do they say? The sustenance of all women. No. Fucking morons. When they say that, I realize they don't fucking understand women. Attention is not the sustenance of women. You know what it is? It's tension, not attention, tension. Tension fills every fucking aspect of their body. Like, just fills them up. And you can, if you're the controller of that tension, you got your hand on that valve, you can start making her go and do and think and feel anything, right? You put in some attraction in there and it's over. As long as you know how to feather that valve, right? But the stories, that's what you'll start cultivating your imagination, and you get really comfortable like that. You know, sort of the way like like someone who's training to be like a rapper, right? Like rappers, I don't know if you realize, like they train, like they write a fuck ton, constantly working on rhymes and like creating pictures with their words. And like the guys that I knew, they basically walked around with a notebook and a dictionary in their bag constantly, just always looking shit up and bouncing things around. And then what they're doing is they're creating a library of phrases that work together, so that when they're in their cipher, it's just in there and it just naturally just starts coming out like in flow, right? Because they enter that flow state and it just goes and it goes out. Okay, it's not necessarily like memorizing. It's just, there's just a big fucking library in there, and then the flow state just accesses it. It's the same sort of thing. You start writing and you start learning the emotions and the feeling that can go with the elements that you're weaving into the story, with the actions and the description of what's happening. And this is you building that library, so that when you're actually talking to a woman, now combined with the earlier shit that I was talking about, with the foundational aspects of yourself, without dealing with your shadow and being really comfortable and all this stuff, and not be fearing her reactions. Okay, that's where you combine it with this library and this comfort, and now you can just speak. And it's all coming from you. Do you see what I'm saying? The foundation is you unearthing you, right? Coming out of the shadows, getting comfortable, getting rid of rejection of self, getting rid of judgment, criticism, acceptance, and all that shit, self-love, all that great stuff, and, you know, sometimes shitty stuff. And then the creative aspects. And you start bringing out your creativity, your ability to paint pictures in one's mind, all right? Being comfortable just speaking, right? And you just practice this. And sure, just like life, nothing's 100%, but you don't care about the things that don't work out or whatever, or don't allow you to continue to express yourself, right? I don't look at it as like, oh, this girl rejected me or this girl wasn't interested, because I'm not in it to gain her interest, because I've dealt with this shit that's in the foundation. And part of what's in there is the fucking nice guy syndrome, who's constantly looking for reassurance and validation and acceptance from women. Yes. So now you're operating from a completely different frame, a different state of mind. You don't need these women. What they are is a portal for you to express yourself through. Make sense? So, you know, like, and I'll be very like straightforward. Like these days, I am very straightforward. I don't care if the woman thinks he must think I'm a whore. You know what? The vast majority of women are whores. You realize that what's inside almost every single woman is this voracious whore who fucking loves sex. Like the clitoris literally was not made for anything else but pleasure. Like every other body part has a function like that that's useful for survival. Okay, like, well, except maybe like the gallbladder, but once we did use that. Okay, you can't take away our shit, you know, like remove an eye. Like we need fucking eyes, right? You remove a clit, nothing's gonna happen. Like we can still reproduce, we can still live life, we can do everything, right? But all of our other systems we need, right? It's in like an ideal sense. The clit, its only sole purpose is pleasure. Okay? It's like, well, of course they're gonna fucking love fucking. And because women have a huge, a massive internal world, right? Because this world around here, this is ours. What's inside is theirs. So they can't express themselves the way we do externally. So it all goes internal, year after year after year after year, with these huge hormonal spikes. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the month. And like I've mentioned this before, the shit that women think of in their fantasies would make most men shit their pants. You have no idea how fucking debased, whorish, just I didn't even have the words. You can't even imagine. Like you watch some porn, you're like, oh, this guy's like spitting in her mouth and like, oh, a fucking blowjob made her puke. And you're like, that's gross. You have no fucking idea what goes on inside these women's heads. I mean, not all of them, but like you take like 1,000 women and a number of them are going to have really fucking bizarre fantasies. Now, I don't say this to judge. I say this to help you guys understand that women are like 100 times more sexual than men are. They are literally designed to feel pleasure. Like if you're a God believer, God didn't do that to us, right? They put like around the head of the dick, the nerves are there in order to ejaculate so that we can procreate. Like that's why it's there. That's why sex feels good. It's so that we can procreate, okay? There's no reason in terms of procreation that women need to feel good about having sex. They don't. They don't need to feel pleasure in order to make babies. They could literally be, their whole pussy could be covered and filled with numbing cream and she can still get pregnant. It's not necessary, but it's there. And it's not intrinsically connected to sex. So, that said, you want to get good at dominating a person's mind. It's all that shit, right? And we're talking in terms of sexual stuff and, you know, women and that sort of thing, because dominating people in general, there's a whole other art form to that, stemming from the foundation, but going in different directions besides eroticism. So just make that clear. Yeah, basically Steve-O, baby. You put a Q there, but it's not a question. You made a statement, and that's fine. You're the creator and the director of what you want to do. Yeah, because, you know, most guys, you go into the bedroom and you wing it, you know, but like I have like see, that's the thing. By the time a woman gets the opportunity of being physical with me, I've come up with so many fucking scenes, so many things, and I'm like, all right, so which one do I want to do tonight? That's like me. I'm like fucking John Coltrane and being like, all right, what song do I want to play tonight? Like, which amazing fucking song do I want to play? That's what it's like. But most dudes, because you're so excited that this fucking woman is in your presence and that you got lucky, okay, and you got this chance, right? And you, oh my gosh, wringing your hands. I hope I don't fuck it up. Like she's some fucking governor, you know. So it's fuck, and you like you just ruin it for everybody. You ruin it for everybody. You ruin it for yourself. You ruin it for the woman, right? Because you're so fucking uncomfortable. And you want the accept, you hoping that you didn't do a bad job. You're hoping that she came, hey, was it good for you? Jesus. Like, I don't even think about orgasming. Like, it's not a priority. Like, because, right, a woman's body means nothing. You start getting into the mind, all right? And you start getting into the mind, and it becomes so fucking tasty. Like, like a movie reference is like stuck in my head. I can't, maybe something with maybe vampires or something like that. But the mind doesn't have limitations. The body has limitations. Like, I don't care how much a woman likes sex, they have their limitations when it comes to pleasure. I don't care how big of a masochist that she might be. They have pain limitations, right? The body has limitations. The mind has no limitations. It can go anywhere, think of anything, feel anything, right? And it's plastic, right? And by that term plastic, I mean that it's malleable. It can be shaped, okay? And so the more grounded you are, the more comfortable you are at dominating or influencing yourself, you then can understand that we're all made of the same stuff on a very essential level, okay? We all have levers. Now, the levers might have like different colors or whatever, but we all have levers. There's no minds that doesn't have levers. And you learn how to shift those levers, right? And move them and adjust them. And then it becomes easy. It becomes fun, especially when you come across someone who's like this, like a woman, and she's like, I like you. I'm interested in what is going on over there. Okay. You know, and there's this girl that I contacted via Instagram, and her account was locked. Okay. And I'm like, okay, so this is a girl she's either a complete fucking whore and likes to sell OnlyFans shit and, behind, a locked account so she doesn't get in trouble with Instagram, or she's really shy. Okay. So I was like, all right. And she's like looking at my stories. I'm like, okay. So I did a friend request. She accepted it, and I sent her a message. And I said, hello, little one. Didn't introduce myself. Just said, hello, little one. And she's like, hello. I can't remember if she said hello, sir. I think she said hello, sir. I'm like, and I don't ever take that as meaning something. Okay. A lot of guys, like, they're like, oh man, this girl should call me sir. Maybe that's just her upbringing. Okay. You go down south in like the United States, down south, everyone calls each other sir. Sir is like super common, and ma'am, right? It's just how people talk. So don't ever assume like, oh man, right? Because that has to do with the projected identity that you've got on yourself and thinking that she sees that projection as well. Don't assume that. I don't know what the fuck she was saying that for, but she did. Okay. And didn't give a fuck. And I said what I wanted to say. I didn't see any pictures of her. Her fucking whole profile was like flowers and plants and like architecture and books and shit like that. Maybe a couple of like pictures of her face, right? But not complete photos. Okay. And I just said, you would look cute bouncing on daddy's lap. And like immediately she was like, do you think it's too early for me to be calling you daddy? She could have been like, you're a fucking asshole. How dare you talk to me that way? You fucking misogynistic pig. All right. And I would have been like, okay. Like, just like if I was a stage performer and someone didn't like the song that I played, they would have been like, boo, and they would have left. Okay. Okay, they're entitled to that opinion of my performance. Now, granted, I'm not performing when I'm talking to this girl. This is the song I wanted to play, so to speak. And she happened to like it. Or at least is in as much to continue a conversation. Okay. Now, I've not touched this girl. All right. I've not physically touched this girl. And there's been profound effect. Okay. And I'm gonna read to you an excerpt from her diary. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to read an excerpt from her diary because I'm having her at this point. I mean, many weeks have passed. And I have my submissives write a diary that I have access to. So it's like a shared Google Doc. And there's a reason for this. One, I want to give them the freedom to speak on anything that they want. Okay, whether they have a problem with the dynamic, with something within themselves that's come up, or something with me. I want to be able to see everything. And because like outside of the diary, it's like there's rules and there's regulations and there's expectations of behavior and all this shit. But I want to give them this like special playground where they can do and say whatever the fuck they want to. Okay. It's like outside the dynamic where they're free. They're like, they're, I wouldn't say like they're trapped otherwise, but where they have no barriers. Okay. And, and so this is what I do with all of my submissives. And it's good for them too, because it's a reflecting on their process. So they'll experience something with me and then they'll be able to reflect on it, which can retrain the mind, right? There's something important that happens when you have an experience and then you write about the experience and then read about that experience. It then further entrenches that sort of thing in the mind, right? It deepens the processing of it. So there's a number of reasons why I have this. And it's also just good for documentation and things like that. But she writes very well. And so I figured I'd share some of this just to show you guys what happens inside the mind of a submissive. Okay. And this is just a tiny bit. All right. She's written tons of shit, a couple times a week. So she says here, I suddenly remembered some of the draft clauses in the contract he once sent me to read. I had asked him about the terms concerning control over a sub's work and personal income. He had reassured me he had no such desire. But honestly, when I asked, it wasn't because I was scared. It was simply because I didn't fully understand the implications back then. And truthfully, if it was him, and if he was near, I would have agreed without hesitation. Totally and willingly. Like, if I had wings, I would break them off and offer them to him if he asked for them. It reminded me of Maleficent somehow. I think now I understand a little better how Maleficent felt when she gave away her wings, but deep inside, I have an unshakable belief that he would never betray me like that. Later, he gently reminded me, your orgasms are mine now. I smiled a little because both of us already knew that truth, but I understood it on a much deeper visceral level. Since the day I met him, I no longer felt random bursts of arousal or excitement just from seeing a romantic clip or an erotic scene like before. Not even a flutter of butterflies inside my stomach. Nothing. And then I realized maybe it's because of the hypnosis files combined with his patient guidance and training has started to untangle the messy, chaotic ball of my sexuality. Bit by bit, he was smoothing it out, weaving it into something orderly, disciplined, and entirely his. And then I clipped this other part that was very interesting. And she said, I swear, I still don't fully understand why. How I am so utterly drawn and surrendered to someone who is physically so far away, a man I didn't even know existed before. Maybe some people would call me stupid or reckless, but come on. What are the odds you meet someone who sees straight through you, a man who doesn't even need to undress you to strip your mind bare, who doesn't even need to touch you to fuck your soul until you're addicted? Scammers and fakes don't have that kind of intelligence, sensitivity, or magic. Our conversations, even with a slight language barrier, have never once lacked connection or emotion. This is the mind. What goes on with the body, it doesn't go very deep. Okay? what's being penetrated in her with her goes far beyond, hitting the bottom. Okay? It goes far beyond that. Okay? She said, fucking my soul. Right? And this isn't like, this isn't some like ego thing, right? It doesn't make me feel good, feel bad. Like there's really like no feelings attached to this whatsoever. It's for me to show you guys like what can happen, right? And the result of this is also like with the foundational stuff, the creativity, but also this embodying the spirit of the scientist, the experimenter. Okay, if you guys ever heard of the old book, King Warrior Lover Magician, I think it's something like that. Read that book; it's interesting. And there's also a really great breakdown on. I gotta open it up. There's this website called The Art of Manliness. Right. So Google The Art of Manliness. It's a website. And then The Art of Manliness, King Warrior Lover Magician. And instead of reading the book, because it's kind of written a little weird, read their breakdown and explanation. And it's really, really good. So one of the archetypes is the magician or the wizard or the alchemist, right? The one who says, gee, I wonder if we combine this and this, what would happen? Right? It's the same. So the foundational stuff, their creativity stuff, and the scientific stuff, saying, what if I did this? What if I said this? And having no fear about it, but more so a sense of curiosity and adventure. What would happen if? Okay. And you know what? Sometimes you combine the things and boom, you burnt off your mustache. And other times you've made liquid gold. And you're like, holy fuck, can I do it again? And again, how can I improve on it? Okay. All right. Now that's cool. Can I make liquid jade? Can I make liquid, fucking diamonds? And it's coming at that spirit of wonder, creativity, exploration, fearlessness in the name of discovery, whether it blows up in your face or not. Having that comfort with adventure and fearlessness and going forward and testing things, they can feel this, right? Now, don't do it for the sake of them feeling it, but just understand that they do. They understand and they can feel your willingness to go, all right? And they can also feel your hesitation. And the hesitation feels disgusting. It's like, what is he hesitating for? I'm this giant steaming bowl of insecurity that's half his weight and entirely emotional and unpredictable. And he's scared of me. Why? I'm just a little girl. So I hope that hearing that excerpt kind of gave you an idea of how beautiful it can be, right? I'm watching this girl just like completely unfold, and she doesn't know what it's turning into. I don't know what it's turning into, but it's a really amazing process, right? Diamond mind, right? Diamond mind. It all starts in the mind. So, not to downplay your dick. Like, of course, your dick should be fucking diamond, platinum, gold encrusted, wonderfulness, which it is. Okay. But the mind is better. And I fucking guarantee it. When I meet this girl in person, I'm going to be able to make her come just by fucking holding her hand. I guarantee it. And you're like, oh, no, it's fucking crazy. Well, no, because I've been massaging her mind day after day after day, putting triggers and anchors and all sorts of shit, just massaging that shit in there. Like, have you ever done like woodworking and you do like oil, right? You get like to make wood, like really good to be handled and used. You put layers of oil into it, and you put like the linseed oil in, you let it sit, you sand it, put more in, let it sit, sand it, until it just all the fibers get saturated. Okay. Now it's ready to be used, right? I've been doing this for weeks. Okay. By the time I see that girl, and like right now, I've just started the conditioning for my titles. So like sir and my lord, they're not just titles. Like, I could give a shit. It doesn't do anything for me. Okay. Who cares? You guys are so fucking hung up on your damn egos. You're like, my girl calls me sir. It's like, okay, who gives a fuck? Right? Your fucking 10-year-old ego needs to sit down and just be quiet and eat his fucking lunch. Okay? It doesn't fucking matter. Okay? You can use these things, especially if she likes you, respects you, there's eroticism. No, you start programming in there that these titles that are used are triggers for eroticism. They're arousal triggers. And so this is something that I've just started, where the term sir and my lord start creating an autonomic physiological response, where she's not like orgasm level, but arousal, just by using the terms, by either writing it and typing it or saying it. It's more powerful when said. And I guarantee it'll be in like a month or so, when I go see her, touching her will be orgasmic. She won't know what the fuck to do with herself. And again, like, you guys be like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it is cool, but it doesn't go very deep, right? It doesn't go very deep as far as like feelings or pride and ego and shit like that, because I'm still in this mindset of the magician or the wizard or the alchemist, and saying, what can I do? It's like, okay, recognizing the fucking potion works. What else can I create? Like, moving the fuck on. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, this beautiful fucking potion, it's so wonderful. Look what I've made. Let me, do this and do that. Like, all right, yes, you've made a great fucking potion. Moving on. What's next? Keep going. Right? But you're like, but this feels so good. Relax. Keep going. Keep going forward. So, like, I hope in discussing this stuff, why it makes sense with the title here. A woman's body means nothing. It's secondary, right? Like, my kung fu teacher, when I was, much younger, he told me, wherever the mind goes, the body follows. Now, he was talking about chi and physical activity and exertion and things like that. But it's the same stuff. It's the same process, right? Exertion, arousal, like whatever. It's just the mind first, the body second. And so you go in there, go at women with this idea that you're just looking for ways in. Like, all I need is just a crack. Right? That's pretty much like how I used to operate. I used to operate to like waiting for a crack, which is basically taking a word that she said and be able to flip it or purposely misinterpret it, or be able to use that word and turn it into an innuendo or something like that. Like this kind of like very like ninja style, right? Which is totally fine. It's a lot of fun. It's very creative, very strategic, and it keeps you sharp. It keeps you witty, because you need to be able to be able to think on your toes and be able to react quickly and shift lines of communication, where she's like saying something, you go and you change a word and it's like whoop, and it like totally changes direction, and you do this effortlessly, and you make her laugh, or you like make her blush or whatever. And that's a great skill to have. Okay, I'm at the point now where I just don't give a fuck, right? I've switched from ninjutsu to Muay Thai. I'm just coming in with thunderous kicks, elbows, and there ain't no fucking jabs. Every punch is made to knock your jaw off. Okay? That's why I like Muay Thai. It's very simple. It's like every blow, I want to either break something or kill you. That's it. So I love that stuff. But I mean, it's all great, right? It's all great. But I'm just at that point where I'm just like, all right, I don't give a fuck. I'm just coming in with a flying elbow. Like, first message, what size are your tits? Right? If she finds you attractive, right? She's going to be like, 36 double D, right? Man, those would look fantastic wrapped around my cock. Because that's what the fuck you're thinking, isn't it? So why not say this? Oh, well, she might get offended. So? And then there's going to be women who think that's fucking amazing. And they love that, right? And they'll either they'll love it and it will make them melt, or they love it and they'll play along, right? And they'll start getting, if you're into banter, if that's your personality, then they're into banter. And now it becomes this fun little tennis match, okay? But it's like, you don't get to the good stuff if you don't start where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be as crass as I am. Like, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I don't give a fuck. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Oh, she blocks me. Oh, no, I get thrown off another fucking useless dating app. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't use dating apps for dating. Like, I can't remember the last time a connection from a dating app actually turned into meeting someone, right? Now it's basically Instagram and real life, okay? So I just use the dating apps to spit bullshit. I experiment. I throw it out there. Just whatever like in motorcycle racing culture, they say send it. You just fucking send it. Drop a gear, whack that throttle open all the way, and fucking go. And if you make it through the corner and you're not dead, that's great. You can keep riding. If you're dead, well, it doesn't matter because you're fucking dead. So it's like coming at it with that attitude. It's like 1 or 0. There's no like fractions. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel nervous. Right? And that's all good things, right? Because those emotions, those emotional reactions of fear, discomfort, anxiety, those are doorways into yourself. And you can be asking yourself, well, why am I afraid of possibly, not a guarantee, but possibly offending someone that I don't know? Why is that a concern of mine? Right? You gotta think about that. Why does it make you uncomfortable? You don't know this person. You know what I mean? Like 20 minutes ago, they did not exist in your reality. And now, now they mean something. Why? Let me guess. It's because you think she's hot. And hotness to you means value. So you're saying, oh, this valuable person, I don't want to offend this valuable person because what if they don't give me some of their value? I'll be at a loss. And I'm already at a loss. So that'll be like a double negative. Do you see the fucked up shit you guys do? Hotness isn't a thing. This is another shit like, this chat that I'm in, with a bunch of great guys at varying levels of development, let's say. And, these guys like, oh man, I couldn't turn her down. She was so hot. I'm like, what's hot? And he's like, oh, about 5'7", 110 pounds. Athletic, nice tits, good firm ass, whatever, brown hair, whatever. I'm like, okay, but I can find you like 10,000 of those women. What makes them so special now? Kind of like in what's it called? What's it called? The Incredibles, right? The first Incredibles movie where Syndrome, right? The guy with black and white costume with the flaming red hair. And he was a technologist, and he's like, I'm gonna make technology for people so that everyone can be a superhero. And he said, when everyone's super, then nobody is. Right? Because that becomes the new average. No one's super. Everyone's just average. So it's like, if every woman you talk to is fucking meets your criteria, which in this case his was like, petite, athletic, nice boobs, ass, brown hair, whatever. If all the women that he talks to are fitting that type, then what makes any of them special? What makes them hot? Like if they're all hot, then none of them are hot, right? Because we use the word hotness as like a term for exceptional, okay? But if they're all at that same level, then none of them are exceptional. Then they're just average from each other. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, so, well, what the fuck is hot then? Right? Hot is what I read to you. That's fucking hot. Hot is when a girl says, what are the odds you meet someone who sees straight through you, a man who doesn't even need to undress you to strip your mind bare, who doesn't even need to touch you to fuck your soul until you're addicted? That's fucking hot. Right? That is so hot. Like, that's way better than any ass, any pussy, any tits, any mouth, any skin, any hair. Like, she's just like given herself, right? This intangible thing that can't be like, you can't touch it. And she's like, this is yours. Take it. I've already given it to you anyways. So it's there. That's fucking hot. Like, I hope you guys fucking get this shit. Like, get away from looking at just what you see. All right? Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not saying don't go talk to ugly women. Don't do that. Right? If you find a woman ugly, just, don't talk to her. Which you're probably not going to anyways. How do you dominate yourself? Full Potential 1000. How do you dominate yourself, your feelings, thoughts, and habits? Well, the feelings and thoughts comes from recognition. Okay. So, being aware of any internal dialogue, that's where that part begins. Because a lot of people, they just kind of either like don't think, or they have thought, but they're not really aware of their thinking. And so you could be giving yourself all kinds of bullshit, training, basically, by having like negative loops, right? So it's paying attention to how you think, right? And if there's negativity, if there's self-criticism, if there's judgment, that sort of stuff needs to be stopped. And I've talked to you guys about the 3 essential tools of a man: the axe, the compass, and the hatchet. Okay. You must use the hatchet and the compass on yourself. Okay. Because that's where the best training is. Then when you use the hatchet and the compass on a woman and you check her behavior and then correct her behavior, it's easy. It's not a big deal because you've used it so many fucking times on yourself. Okay. So you use the hatchet and the compass on your own thinking to corral the mind into the direction. And you're like, no, thinking about myself will only occur within these fucking barriers, like those like little stone walls on the highway. It's like, sorry, you can't drive anywhere except between these fucking stone barriers. That's it. Other thinking is not fucking allowed. All right. And so, but you don't do it just once. Like, you have to like do it again and again and again to train your mind to harness that shit. Okay. Same with your emotions. Okay. Habits, on the other hand, is something external that you can really take a hold of, and you can just kind of like pay attention and mark down, just write down the habits that you have, both like good and bad. and you say, okay, well, let's do a fucking audit here. And what needs to be taken care of. Like, let's say you're fucking voracious nail biter, right? You just fucking gnaw the shit out of your hands. I had a friend, man, he's like old friend from my childhood. I met him when I was like 5 years old, and I still know him, right? And I'm in my 40s now. He developed, I don't know when, but he developed this nasty nail biting habit where his fucking nail was like half the length. Half. So like there were some tiny ass shits, and he'd be like up in there like, yeah, right? All up like on his hand to get at that nail. These are things like you gotta observe them and say, okay, this is not fucking conducive to the way I want to be. Like my ideal self, in terms of habits anyways, is not this voracious nail biter, right? So there's ways you can train yourself out of this. You know, there's like lemon shit that you can put on your nails, like bad tasting polish that you can put on there. It tastes like fucking rotting garbage, and doesn't have an odor, but when you taste it, it tastes like rotting garbage. All sorts of things, right? Or you can just be hard-nosed about it. Like, let's say it's sweets, right? Say like you have a habit of like just constantly eating sweets throughout the day. Maybe not like crazy, but it's like almost like every day you have some sort of refined sugar. Okay. And like, okay, well, the got like this mustache hair that's curled the wrong way and it's going up my nose. So you say, okay, when I go grocery shopping, I am not buying anything that's like a sweet snack. Okay. Like, sure, apples are fine, oranges are fine, but I'm not buying any sort of like, you know, super bombastic crunchy O's. I'm not buying any sort of fucking, you know, sweetens like oatmeal or whatever. I'm not buying anything that's like packaged with added sugar. Okay. It's just not coming into my home. So that doesn't stop your habits from outside when you're like walking on the street, but it's going to stop it from being in your home. So when you're at home from work or whatever, you're going to be like looking around, you're going to have to make a different choice because there's fucking nothing there for you to consume. Right. So the habits is just taking control of the shit that's outside of you, marking them down, doing an audit and figure out what works, what doesn't, what's controllable, and making your choices. That's really what it's about. Efron, my direction of what I want and action hatchet for checking my own thought patterns and behavior. Oh yeah, yes, compass. Sorry, I didn't notice the emoji there. Yes, well the checking comes first, so the hatchet always comes before the compass. It's the first part saying no, and then the compass is what says yes. Okay, what is not allowed, and then what is allowed. And you know, that's another thing that has to do with you know, this domination, right? And like when I was talking about the fearlessness and, you know, all that good shit, not being afraid of a woman's reactions and like her saying no and whatever. So not having any fear around checking a woman, that's a huge thing. Like, let me tell you the truth here. Women have a love-hate relationship with no. They hate it and they fucking love it. Women are so interesting. Like, I love them. I'm so glad I'm not one, but they are so fucking interesting. So interesting. Like, we're very much black and white, okay? They're just like this, like, swirly black, white, gray, and not even those three tones. It's like hundreds of different tones of black, white, and gray, right? All like swirled together. Man, they're weird. But yeah, they have a love-hate relationship with no. Like they want to do something, like no, and like look them in the eyes, you know, put your chin up just a little bit, no. And they're like, no. Like inside them, they're like, my God, how dare he? And she's like a little upset, and then her pussy's like boing at the same time. She's like, quiet you. I want to do the thing. And the pussy's like, it was hot. She didn't put up with our shit. Oh, damn. And then it happens like at the same time. Oh, fuck. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So, back to my point is that you need to be okay with checking a woman, right? Because part of domination is structure, right? You can't have structure without rules. You can't have rules without being able to say no. Okay? And so, like, it's like all this shit ties together, right? That's why just getting a fucking flogger riding crop and like dressing in black, I mean, that doesn't like make you fucking dominant. Like, do you see how, like, through the duration of the show, that domination is a complex and very subtle thing. It's not domination, right? It's not like that. It's not like a fucking wrecking ball dropping to the ground. Okay? That's not domination. That's domineering, right? Dominating is quieter. It's more relaxed. It has no need for force, right? Just like in fucking Conan with Ulsa Doom. What did he do? He was chill as a motherfucker. Look at that girl up on the cliff. Come to me, my child. Come. And boom, she just falls to her death. And he's like, that's power, my boy. What is steel compared to the hand that wields it? What is the body compared to the mind that wields it? And to harness the mind, you don't need force. Actually, using force works against the mind, right? You cannot like, well, you can, but even still, even the forceful forms of dealing with the mind are soft, right? Like Machiavellian type stuff, Machiavellian manipulation tactics, dark triad sort of stuff, narcissism, like all that stuff. Like that even has to be soft because the mind itself is soft. Like there's no other way to work with the mind other than to have some, well, softness, right? Fluidity. You cannot force a woman's mind into submission. And that's where submission comes from. Submission comes from the mind. It's not kneeling. It's not her telling you, oh, my holes belong to you. That's not what it is. It's a state of being that cannot be forced into that position. It can be coerced. It can be invited. Okay? It can be manipulated, but it cannot be forced. You can't be like, bitch, submit to me. It doesn't work that way. And she's like, okay, master. It doesn't work that way. And I know so many guys would love that, right? I've even been in like situations where the guys are like, bitch, you better submit. And it's like, you don't really know how this works, does it? This shit. Yes. I heard about this power versus force. I've never read it though. Yeah, power versus force. Good book. Yeah. Yeah. Owen Cook used to be cool. Now he's fucking crazy. This is crazy fat bastard. But anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I hope you guys get that this is a subtle art form. It's not about being tough. It's not about being cool. But certainly being tough and cool can play into what is perceived. Okay? What the person perceives. But don't get caught up in perception. All right? Because then you're playing on their chessboard. You're like, well, what do you want to see? Do you want to see like cooler? Okay, I can do cooler. Do you want tougher? Okay, I can be tougher. Don't play into what you think the woman perceives, because now you are being led by her perceptions, which are complete illusions. Like perceptions are just their fancy form of illusion. So sure, what she perceives you as has some kind of effect. All right. But don't spend too much time there. Don't linger on how she perceives you, because you can get caught up. And a lot of guys do get caught up. And these are the dudes who spend fucking, like 8 hours at the gym every day. They spend way too much on their fucking wardrobe. It's just like too much. They're like edging into fucking like metrosexual. And it's like, bro, you need to fucking relax on perception, because the harder you work is kind of revealing that you really don't appreciate yourself. And you're putting even like way more emphasis on perception than you need to. All right. Like, yeah, it's relevant to a degree. Okay. But you shouldn't be going all in like crazy extra, that sort of thing. Because I mean, look, I just fucking read to you part of a journal. Like, she didn't even know what I look like. I think maybe I got like one picture on my Instagram. I don't know. And I don't know if she saw it or whatever, but it's like I had already fucking just sunk my dagger into her brain before she even knew what I looked like. How is that possible, right? Women just want 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs and 6-figure salaries, right? This girl doesn't know my height. She doesn't know my body composition. She doesn't know my bank account. She doesn't know my income. Yet she's more submitted than any of you tall, fit, wealthy fucks will ever experience. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking wild? All it takes is just one mind and a couple of thumbs, and I've sunk a dagger that's fucking 15 inches long into her skull. And nice and slow too. Like she could see it coming. Like Dune. They're in Dune, they have those like shield armor things, and fast movement gets blocked by it, right? Glances off. The way to get through that shield was to take your blade and slowly push it through. So you needed strategy, because that can easily be seen or blocked or moved away from. So you got to figure out how to get this blade slowly through that armor. Okay, that it's like an energy shielding. And that's what I did. Just this 15-inch long dagger, just slowly, like, yep, I'm coming. I'm just gonna just calmly just sink this shit right into your fucking skull. And you're going to watch it happen. And you're going to thank me for it. And your pussy's going to get wet. And you're going to thank me for that. I'm not rolling up in any fancy car. Not taking her out. She's not looking at my abs. I haven't bought her anything. Just one minds to another. And she's like, what are you doing to me? I love every fucking instance of it. I need more. I'm like, well, that's great. I love the enthusiasm, but you're just going to have to pace yourself, dear. You can't be in this state if you're like, gotta fucking get my dick in a wet hole. please, I want to come. You can't do that. They're counteractive. You cannot have that state and be driven by fucking like an animal. It doesn't work. Do you want to be a wizard or a wildebeest? What do you want? Wizard, wildebeest. You want to reshape realities, or you want to just come all over the place? What you want to do? Oh man, you guys are funny. So yeah, I'm gonna close it here. Really appreciate you guys coming through. Really appreciate you guys coming through. Had a good time. It's been a while. My apologies. Like I said, a lot of shit going on. And just caught up in a lot of stuff. But I've got I'll be freeing up some time soon and gonna get my webinar out there. A whole new like package of awesome how to be a good dominant video course. It's not going to be fucking priced through the roof. It'd be fairly accessible. And like you'd be able to afford it if you just stopped buying coffee for a month. Right? Like, you know, let's just look that up. That because I'm just making an assumption there. Okay, it's not going to be that long. Not okay. So New Yorkers spend about $120 per month on coffee. All right, so scratch that. It's not going to be that cheap, but it's not going to be fucking through the roof. Yes. Efren. Last question: can she be led by what she thinks your perception is? Well, don't think about what her perception is. Like, seriously. Maybe I'm misinterpreting. Can she be led by what she thinks your perception is? Well, now you're thinking about what she's thinking. Like, that's a problem. Don't think about what they're thinking. Your mind has no business being in their head. Okay? When I say, this is key, all right? When I say getting in a woman's head, it's me putting my consciousness in hers. I'm not trying to like get in her head to see what's going on in here. What are all these, what's going on? What does this do? Why is this here? How can I understand what's going on in your head so I feel more comfortable? So I know what you're thinking. All right? Stop trying to sort out her mind. Sort out your mind. What you want, what you need, what you desire, what you fantasize about. Okay? Get really comfortable with that shit. Then get comfortable with saying, serving it up on a platter and go, here, take it. I'm gonna attempt to put this in your brain. And some will readily take that in and go, oh, that's nice. Or like, what's this? Or wow, that's really fucking hot. Or well, that's kind of scary. Or I don't like that at all. It doesn't matter. Okay? Don't think about what they're thinking. It's a waste of fucking time. Okay? A complete waste of time to try to sort out what a scatterbrained, hormonally volatile, emotional, solipsistic being is thinking about. Like, that's not even possible. It's not possible to capture a notion of how and why and what happens within a woman's mind. Impossible. So don't even bother starting. It's much easier and much more beneficial to get to the how, why, and what of your own mind. But thank you for the question. Grim analogy, but funny. How often you going to do these lives? I live in Ireland. It's 4:17 a.m. Well, thank you so much, Gammy Page, for staying up so late with us. I appreciate that. I do lives usually in the evenings here in New York. Right around like maybe 9:30. But if you don't catch us on the live, you can always catch me on the replay. And if you have any questions, you can just email me. Okay, it's in the description of every video, justin@thedominanceacademy.com. There's something about marry and jerk off before you go on the date. What? How? There's something about marry and jerk off. This must be like speech to text, because that's the only time I see like weird grammatical errors like this. Just, you're a grown adult. Check your grammar before you ask someone a question. Because imagine we're face to face and we're in a seminar and you're like, oh, hey, Mr. Justin, I've got a question. There's something about marry and jerk off before you go on the date? I mean, like, have you been drinking before coming to my seminar, sir? Or ma'am? I don't know, gammy, whatever. But I think you're trying to say like jerking off before going on a date. No, that's not necessary. I think that you can use that energy and channel it, harness it, and be able to put it into different directions. Okay. So it's like that energy can come out of your gaze. But the problem is if you've got that let's say just sexual energy, strong sexual energy. If you have neediness, if you're seeking validation, if you're looking for acceptance, if you pedestalize women, if you like all that shit, right? That basically like puts women up here and you down here and you vying for whatever you can get from them. If that's the state that you're in, either consciously or subconsciously, then your sexual energy is going to be really warped coming out of you. Okay. And because it's going to want that sexual energy to be satisfied to then cause a feedback loop on those feelings to make you be like satiated. Oh, she sucked my dick. Okay. I have value. I feel better about myself. Wow. I'm a man. Okay. All right. This is the problem. Okay. But let's just go towards an ideal here. You've dealt with your neediness. You don't have nice guy syndrome anymore. You do not seek women for their validation, their attention, or their approval. They are just NPCs until proven otherwise. They're cute-looking NPCs that behave like little kids until proven otherwise. But you care to enjoy their company from time to time. But you've still got this sexual energy inside you. And it can come out of your gaze and in this knowing, right? It's just looking directly at the woman with this sense of knowing. And it will pierce right through her. Like, just like that submissive, right? She said, undressing me, right? The core of her mind, totally undressed without laying a finger on her. And it's not undressing her body. It's undressing herself that she thinks that she can hide. It's like, well, that stuff can be conveyed through a gaze, right? It comes with like, just not getting caught up in the visuals. Like, oh my gosh, she's so fucking pretty. She look at her. She's so hot. She's a dime. No, like, just like, sure, recognize, but look through. Okay. And don't like try to impress her that you can look through. Just look through. Okay? You're like, oh, look at me, how deep and insightful I am. Like again, that's still just trying to prove to the woman that you're the guy. Stop trying to prove things to women and just be the thing. Okay? Like, don't tell her I'm all about rules and saying no. Just fucking have rules and say no. Right? But that sort of thinking, that lineup, that gets applied to everything. Right? So, all right. Cool. From the movie. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, yes, the movie, something about Mary. Right. Yeah, what do you say here? The movie, sorry you're tired. Yeah, he jerks off and gets cum in his hair. No, she gets cum in her. That's what I remember. She didn't realize it. And she's like, oh, is that the... Yeah, he jerks off and she's like, oh, is that gel? And she takes it and he's like, oh, fuck. And she puts it in her hair. And then her hair's like, fucking, there's the plastic. You could seriously, if you had enough cum and bricks, you could probably build a house. Like, that shit is like super glue. They probably used it as glue a long time ago. So yeah, jerks off. He pretends it's hair gel when she shows up unexpectedly. Yeah, yep, yeah. That's classic. What is that? Early 2000s, back when like Cameron Diaz was considered hot. I never thought that woman was attractive. She's just weird. Like, she smiles and it's like what the fuck? Somebody put like a car jack in your mouth. He chokes it before the date. Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz. Yes. It's all right, Ben. Yeah, it's late for you. You should go to bed. But I understand my voice is addicting. But yeah, whatever. You want to fucking jerk off before going on a date, whatever. But that's not gonna get you in her head any easier, right? So, okay. Fucking your coom castle. Oh shit. Yeah, perhaps. Maybe because she was like fucking 22 or some shit. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, women aren't hot. Their bodies mean nothing. It's the mind, right? Because I showed like some in this chat, just to one little thing. Like in this chat, I was showing like some pictures of this girl. I mean, she's got like fucking amazing tits. Amazing tits. Really cute, petite little thing. Soft as could be. She's like a cute little marshmallow. And like the guys were like, oh wow, she's hot, and like look at this, and whoa, she's so submissive, and look how she's behaving, and oh my god. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, so yeah, she's pretty. Now pretend you don't know about her personality, and I show you some screenshots of her talking to me like she's some fucking, bitchy, headstrong cunt. Right? Immediately, she becomes ugly as fuck. I learned this word. Maybe Gammy, this is a word. Maybe munter. I've just got some British friends in this chat, and apparently munter is like an old, like ugly woman. So she turns into a fucking, or slag. Love that word. Slag is the best description for like an ugly woman. So yeah, imagine she's like this bitchy fucking cunty slag. All those good looks go away, don't they? They mean nothing at that point. You're like, get the fuck out of my face, you bitch. Right? So it's all about the behavior. It's all about how they show up. Not what they look like doing it. But yeah, this submissive, she's pretty cute. All right, guys. thank you so much for joining me this evening. Appreciated your company. And for those of you who have not watched this on live, be sure to check out the recorded, and be on the lookout for my new products. I'm working on a new website. I've got like this holding page so people can get some things over at PayHip, because Gumroad can go suck a fat one. But yeah, that's it. Thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one.